Hey, hey, Selma community. This is another episode of Talk Soup. I'm Dr. Avis Williams, your proud superintendent for Selma City Schools, and got Courtney Washington here, C-Dub, as I like to call her, our community
Hey, Team
engagement
Selma.
specialist. Hey, and we also have a guest today. Courtney, who was our special guest?
We have our very own Nurse Ira Austin. Welcome to Talk
Yeah.
Soup, Nurse Austin.
All
Yeah.
right. Hello there. Thank you for inviting me.
We are super excited to have you here, and family, community, Team Selma. We know we just shared some information with you all just a couple of days ago, but with the start of the school year being just around the corner, we figured it won't hurt to just reiterate our reopening plan and specifics around some of the safety and reminders and that type of thing. And so we're really excited to have Nurse Austin, our lead nurse, here to talk to us a little bit about that. Now, we went over our entire reopening plan at our last episode, and it's still posted on our website and our social media site. So you can always go to that and find that document. And also, you'll notice if you're looking at it electronically, it does have some hyperlinks where you can click on and learn about Saints Virtual Academy. You can learn about our mask requirements, and you can even click on to see our COVID dashboard, which we will continue to update and to make sure that it's another source where we're being transparent about what's happening with the COVID-19 virus within our school district. So, and there's even a link for Alabama Department of Public Health at the bottom. So you can click on that and get more information about what's happening statewide. So just really want to make sure that everyone knows that all of this information is available and then some. On our social media sites and our website. But I'm going to stop talking in just a second. I'm going to pitch it to you, Courtney, and guide us through a conversation with Nurse Austin, just letting people know a little bit more about what we can expect as we reopen next week.
Definitely. So again, school starts August 16th. That's in a couple of days, about 4 days now. And so hopefully you guys are ready and are still preparing to make this school year successful. But we do have a few things that some of our scholars will have to do before they come to the school building. And so Nurse Austin is going to talk to us about that. And then she'll share a little bit more about what our schools are doing to continue to keep everybody in the school building safe. So Nurse Austin, I'm going to pitch it over to you. What's happening in terms of vaccinations for our scholars?
Okay. Good morning. The vaccines are what we're trying to see is the importance of having your child vaccinated. Why? Vaccines can prevent diseases that can be dangerous or even deadly, and vaccines greatly reduces the risk of infection by working with the body's natural defenses to safely develop immunity to disease. So we want most of our vaccine preventable diseases are much less common than they used to be, but some of these diseases still occur in the United States. Thanks to vaccines, your child will be protected from the chickenpox, diphtheria, the flu, hepatitis A and B, HPV, measles, meningococcal disease, mumps, polio, pneumococcal, and rubella, tetanus, and whooping cough. Children pre-K through 12th grade should have the updated immunization records before entering the school on August 16th. Sixth graders and seventh grade students ages 11 and 12 needs to have the Tdap vaccine. That is mandatory. If your child cannot receive the vaccine, you must provide an exemption certificate, whether it be religious or medical, from your physician or county health department. We would please consider having your children the age 12 and above to get the vaccine for the COVID-19.
Yes. So let's pause right there for just a second. I do want to note the difference in the vaccinations that you just discussed. So one set of the vaccinations are required. And so let's talk about, again, just to repeat what is required for our scholars to have before they can come into the school building, which is, it happens every year. You already have to submit this information. So what is the standard required vaccinations for scholars?
Well, the pre-K, they age 4, they have a special, I think, well, I don't want to go into details about theirs, but they have a special, they have to have the vaccinated with their 4-year-old shots. And then you have your kindergarten through the fifth grade, they have special shots. So we just needed an updated immunization, and we can pull it up. It will show whether your child has been updated or not. And we will, like I said, if we don't have a record of it, if it's out of date, I'm sorry, we will send a letter home to the parents so they can bring an updated immunization form back to us. But
Gotcha.
our sixth graders, the fifth graders that are promoted to the sixth grade, they have to have a Tdap. That is mandatory, and the same way with the seventh graders. Those are required.
Gotcha.
And thank you for differentiating that, because, you know, in this age that we're in, this COVID age that we're in now, every time someone mentions vaccine, I think people just naturally assume that we're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine. And it's an option, you know, for anyone who is 12 or older, but it's not required. But we do have a list of vaccines that are required. And you mentioned that you have to have an exemption form if there's a reason that a scholar is not getting a vaccine. Right.
Whether it's religious, though, there are certain people with certain religions that say their child would, well, they don't want them vaccinated, but we still have to have a certificate to prove that. You just can't give us word of mouth.
Gotcha. Thank you. And so now next, what we're promoting, and we're still promoting our DOPE campaign, that's doing our part every day. And so again, to recap, that started last year. And the first part of that was for us to maintain those healthy habits, you know, washing your hands, wearing your mask, watching how you cough or sneeze, and then getting tested. We held testing clinics, drive-through at Selma High last year. Now we're moving that to another phase, which is vaccinations. The first were for our faculty and staff and for community members. And now one vaccine is open to scholars 12 and up. So we are asking, sorry, I'm fighting flies, are asking for our scholars ages 12 and up, including our families and teachers, to consider getting the vaccination. Do you want to talk just a little bit more about that?
And that is something that, you know, that would be very important if they were to. You know, we can't make them, but we can ask them to consider, because if you're vaccinated, you're helping everybody else, like you're saying. What I just earlier when I was saying the child is going to be sick. Okay, vaccine can prevent diseases or even be deadly, but if one child gets vaccinated, that helps another child. When fewer children get vaccinated, more children get sick. So, and that's the same way now that our teachers or staff members, if you don't get vaccinated, you may get sick and they may spread that along. So we would recommend or encourage, because we want to have a safe school year this year where everybody can stay in and we're not closed.
All year, right? All year. Yeah. And so, you know, we do want to encourage that vaccine. And meanwhile, you know, school is going to happen. It'll start next week. And I know we've got spaces, isolation rooms, and some other mitigating factors that we have in our buildings. Can you talk a little bit about what you and your nursing staff have prepared at each of our schools?
Okay, we do have isolation rooms with supplies at each school. We have masks, and we do temperature checks before entering the building. That's going to be for students, staff, and visitors. We are doing social distancing, and now that it is 3 feet and 15 minutes apart. We have hand sanitizer stations that are throughout the buildings. We have signages throughout all of our buildings as far as cover your cough, do social distancing, so many feet apart. So we have all that in our school buildings now that we have. So that was some of the process. And we have just saying the process for the quarantine has changed also. And because of we're not in a state of emergency, so that has changed.
Yeah. And so we know that if you test positive, the standard will be 10 days. And, you know, another great thing about the vaccine is if you're vaccinated, and you have a close contact with someone who tests positive, you don't have to quarantine as long as you remain asymptomatic.
Right.
I think that's going to be a great benefit for our teachers, our staff, our families, to not have to worry about that quarantine time, even if you do come in contact with someone who tests positive. But it sounds like we've got some great mitigating factors in place, but that doing our part every day is still going to be important. I mean, we're going to have to make sure that we have that personal responsibility factor, whether it's wearing masks, the hygiene with our hands, and like Courtney said, the cough, the respiratory hygiene, making sure that we are being safe and responsible as it relates to that. So we appreciate you sharing that information. I want to remind everybody again that all of this is on our Return to Excellence reopening plan. Another piece that's a part of that is also right now we're not having any restrictions in terms of extracurricular activities or athletics, but the Alabama High School Athletic Association has started sharing some guidance, and we will absolutely follow their guidance. And at the very bottom of this form, it says that Selma City Schools may modify these guidelines based on any changes that might happen with the Alabama Department of Public Health or the CDC, or if there is a state order or anything of that nature that might happen. So always, always, always stay in touch with us and make sure that you're getting your information from us, because this is information that's likely to change as conditions change within our county and state.
Yeah. And so I'm experiencing a few technical difficulties. I'm not sure if you guys have seen me disappear. Yeah. I think I was frozen time for a minute there, but I was here. We do have one question. We do have one question in the chat. Do the students need to show their vaccination card for COVID-19 if they've already gotten it?
No, we're not.
Did you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We're not requiring anyone to show their card. And I know, adults and scholars have those cards, but no, that's not a requirement that you have to show your card, because again, we're not requiring the vaccine, although we are strongly encouraging it for anyone who is eligible. So that's a great question, but no, you will not have to show your vaccination card. Yeah.
And so right now, that's the only question that we have. Thank you so much, Nurse Austin, for providing us with this information and joining us for Talk Soup. Dr. Williams, do we have any more updates?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that we are actively preparing for Monday for our reopening, and just wanted to address Selma High School. We are making sure that our school is safe, and you will hear from Principal Pritchett a little bit later today and tomorrow with some specifics, around the new cameras that are being installed and some of the other safety factors that will be in place at Selma High School, and including expectations as we reopen school next week. So just look for that information. I think we're going to have like a one-pager so we can just have it readily available, similar to what we have with the reopening plan, just so that information will be readily available. And then Principal Pritchett will also address Saints Nation later today and tomorrow, just to, again, update and inform and make sure that everyone has the best information in terms of the safety factors that are in place. Other than that, we are ready to welcome our scholars back next week. August 16th is the start of the school year, and we're super excited about that. And as always, reminding you that we do have Saints Virtual Academy as an option. Yesterday, Raphael Simmons called it contactless learning, in this age of COVID where you get things delivered contactless. So it's contactless learning, but it's not learning on your own, because we have teachers who will be actively engaged with our scholars, and that's Saints Virtual Academy for grades 6 through 12. So if you are interested in being in our virtual academy where you own your own learning, then by all means, go ahead and get registered for that, because the classes for Saints Virtual Academy will begin next week also.
Yes, so thank you, Doc. All right, so really quickly before we close out, I do want to provide the same district announcements. We will continue to partner with Rural Health as well as Bond Regional Medical Center to provide drive-through, well, not just drive-through, but vaccination clinics throughout the school year. So we did do one a couple of weeks back and had the second shot this past Monday, but we will announce those dates. So be on the lookout for that. We will make sure to share that on our social media as well as on our website. Don't forget to register online. Again, every single scholar at Selma City School has to register online and code in your email if you have not received that, or if you are having difficulty logging into your student email address, just go ahead and register as a new student. If you need assistance with uploading those documents, you can reach out to your scholar school just to make sure that you have everything you need. Do not forget about those required vaccinations for our 6th and 7th grade scholars. And then don't forget to follow our back to school page for your school supply list as well as your uniform information. If you're shopping online, contact list, you can use the teacher list link and shop. It loads directly to your cart for Walmart as well as for Target, but those are on our website as well. This is the back to school information page. And then if you are in need or would like for transportation, go ahead and submit your transportation request form. I'd like to note that transportation, our first priority goes to our special needs scholars, those in need of support, as well as for our Knox scholars. But transportation is open to everyone. That's just our preference will go there, which means that if a bus or if all of our buses are filled with our special needs scholars or scholars from Knox or those that are homeless, then there may be either a wait list or we would provide some other method for transportation. So that information is on our website as well as on our Facebook page. And I just want to give a partner shout out if I can. I wanted to shout out Children's Dentistry. Thank you so much for your donation for school supplies. And thank you for your continued support of Selma City Schools. And so, Doc, that's all I have now if you want to close this out.
All right. You know, your bandwidth is low. And there was a little chop. I could hear you fine. But I'm only saying that because when we do the theme, I think I'm just going to say it myself. Because you were just a little choppy. But I just want to remind everyone that our theme is one team, one voice, committed to excellence. And we are super excited that you are part of our team. Thank you, Nurse Austin, for dropping that amazing knowledge and sharing that information. And as Courtney said, just check our social media sites, websites, and check with your child's school. That's where you're always, always, always going to get your best information. So we appreciate you, Team Selma, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye, Team Selma.
Bye-bye.